Are you a literature lover? Are you tired of reading literature that does not resonate with our times? Do you have questions about literature? If so, welcome to the podcast My Two Cents Worth with Ojaide Mamburi, the platform that discusses literature in relation to our times. I'm a professional English and literature teacher with a master's in literature. Critiquing literature is my passion. To put it into perspective, I am uniquely Kenyan and relevantly African, hence my focus, African literature. In this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts and opinions on the African youth to lend an ear to African literature. I'll put emphasis on the keywords 21st century African youth and African literature as a source of solace. I'll make references to our beloved parents of African literature, Chinua Achebe, Nadine Gordimer, Edward Said, Wole Soyinka, and Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Secondly, to the African poets Sanusi Ojaide, Michere Githai Mugo, and the ones who will surely resonate well with Ebenezer Agu, Mukoma Wangugi, Yvonne Owor, and Chimamanda Adichie, and our youthful African writer, Safia Elhilio. Please listen till the end. You'll definitely have food for thought. Let us sail in. Okay, albeit it is all common to us that 21st century is a period in which we are currently in, which began, open quote, 2001 and it will end in 2099. It is defined as the era we are in now, a time of freedom and technological advancement, end quote. Who then is a 21st century African youth? A 21st century African youth is a person I perceive to be a representation of a timeline between dependence and independence, yet fully aware of what he or she wants by communicating candidly, at times may seem somewhat dismissive, but at the very core of their communication, there is an admirable level of wanting a platform to be listened to and being taken seriously. Let me reiterate Ojaide remarks on contemporary young poets. Open quote, they are recent echoes of globalized Africa, end quote. Basically, that's who our youth is. It is hereby that I challenge the African youth to take a deliberate departure from considering themselves as being the undermined or societal victims and position themselves to be perpetrators of anything imaginable as Africa's visionaries. It is with this understanding of the African youth being visionaries that they need to have a clear, conscious understanding of what African literature really is, aside from the predisposed concept of it being a colonial literature that we have grown to know and learned since our childhood days. Secondly, African literature as a source of solace. The father of African literature, Chinua Achebe, has over and beyond emphasized in his works, to name a few, No Longer at Ease, Things Fall Apart, Hour of God, and A Man of the People, about the need for we Africans to forgo our fears and worries of being the inferior humanity and take an inner look at how great we are as a people, as a culture, and the diversity we characterize in our various ethnicity. In the aforementioned books, all the main characters are faced with a challenge or put in a position that takes them back in deeply knowing what is African, hence forging a way forward into new possibilities. Achebe's plotlines are entwined in with stories within a story, mainly fables, that are to primarily bring in a focal point on the essence of the African youth to alleviate fear and seek comfort in what is African. I'm mostly in love with Achebe's assertive standpoint in an image of Africa essay that calls into question the misrepresentation of Africa as so hopeless and so dark, so impenetrable to human thoughts, so pitiless to human weakness. End quote. This is worth mentioning to us as the African youth of the 21st century in lending an ear into taking any pessimism that lures us into demeaning African literature and take on the optimism over Africa as a source of solace, which is predominantly reinforced by our African authors. Allow me to pause there. In the next video, I'll be sharing some of the glaring optimism that is highlighted to us by the various African authors as I had mentioned. That's all I have for you today. Kindly subscribe and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thank you and see you next Saturday.